If you value your time, you will not stream 8 to 10 hours a day, period. Not on Twitch. You won't. And I mean that in the most loving way possible. You know what you should do is you stream 3 to 4 hours, and then those other 4 hours, you do stuff elsewhere. You make YouTube videos, you make Let's Plays, you know, you do, I don't know, you make clips, you interact with your community, you create posts, you create thumbnails, you analyze your stuff, you go and learn from other people, you improve your content, you spend your time doing all of that instead of just sitting in front of here playing Call of Duty all day. Now, you don't need a masterclass from me to give you that free tidbit. Okay, chat. Now we're going to talk about this whole Twitch thing. Oh, I'll wait for the ads to finish. That's kind of mean for me to just time that with the ads. So, a letter from the Twitch president, Dan Clancy, on subscription revenues. So, this came out, it was yesterday, but now it's 2 days ago. This is the president of Twitch, and I've never heard from this guy, like ever. So, I don't know, you know, what prompted this, but he's responsible for day-to-day operations of the service. This blog is targeted to streamers. That's me. And some of you, but everyone is of course welcome to read along with us. This morning we reached out to a subset of streamers about some upcoming changes to their agreement terms. So the people who are affected by this have already been notified. This blog gives us an opportunity to be clear with all streamers on Twitch about those changes and talk more broadly about our strategy to help streamers to make more money on our service. So I'm going to start off just talking about what he's saying, and then I'll give my opinions throughout. Streamers are always be the foundation of our global community. So this is the start of a fluff. Okay, so streamers are always and will be the foundation of our global community. It is your passion, hard work, and creativity that make Twitch the one-of-a-kind place it is. See how they're pumping up Twitch here? To bring it back around more directly to this blog's topic, we can't run this service unless you make money. That's kind of big. That's not a drawback, it's by design. This innate partnership is why we support all streamers' careers and ambitions like they're our own. I'm gonna call X and A on that. I don't think you do that, but anyway. Before we talk about what's happening next, we need to share some information for context. For subscriptions, we use a baseline revenue share of 50-50 on the net revenue of those earnings. So what that means is that whenever you guys subscribe to a Twitch streamer, most streamers get half of that. So when you guys get you pay for a sub either by Prime or Tier 1, we get $2.50 roughly, depending on where they are, right? If you're subscribing from a different country, we use your local currency, which in the majority of cases is going to be less than $2.50. So the maximum we're going to get is about $2.50. They should have worded that differently. I mean, they said baseline, but that's the maximum you're going to get is like $2.50. The vast majority of Twitch streamers have these terms in their agreement, including your boy. However, for some time, we did offer standard agreements with premium subscriptions terms to select streamers as they grew larger. This isn't something we talked about publicly, but such deals are common knowledge within the streamer community. This right here is an underlining problem with Twitch. It's kind of like a culture thing. Because I don't know if you guys remember the early days of JTV, they told nobody how to do emotes. Like when people typed in Kappa, you had no idea how to do that. It was hidden knowledge and you had to learn it from somebody. And it wasn't until much later that they added like an emote picker. So you had to kind of know, you had to like intertwine with the community to get knowledge about an emote. What's the code for the emote, right? And it wasn't really communicated at all. Historically, we didn't have a consistent framework to determine who we would receive these deals. We didn't have a consistent framework to determine who would receive these deals and when. Over a year ago, we made the decision to stop offering these premium agreements to new streamers not already on the terms. So it's kind of like this is another problem of Twitch being Twitch. There was little consistency. Joe Schmo would have the same concurrent viewership, same type of views, same type of follow count as Joe Schmai over here on the right. They would give it to Joe Schmo, but not Joe Schmai. So there was little consistency. It's still inconsistency with partnerships. Like when you apply for partner, they will deny you, and you'll be like, "What? Why?" And you have the same you'll have the same metrics as somebody else, same stats. In some cases, they'll be a lot better, but you'll get denied. So it's like miscommunication. Criteria was like, we don't understand like what's going on, and we kind of have to guess. Over a year ago, we made the decision to stop offering these premium agreements to new streamers not already on these terms. So this is no longer the case. You cannot get a premium subscription. Standard agreements with the premium subscription terms. This is referring to 70-30 split. So some streamers out there, some of you who you probably follow, they have an agreement with Twitch to where they get 70-30. They get 70% of the revenue from a sub, right? While the vast majority of us, And I even said those same exact words when this was first leaked months ago. Remember when all this stuff leaked out? We were talking about it back then. Vast majority of us are 50-50. Like I'm talking 90. I think I said 99%. I think I actually said the words 99% in the past, but I could be wrong. I may have said 95. It's just a lot of people that are under 50-50. Over a year ago, we made the decision. Okay, as we reflected on how we handled these premium deals, we realized a few problems. First, we had not been transparent about the existence of such deals. Bingo. Second, we were not consistent in the qualification criteria, and they generally went to large streamers. Now, this is something that makes me a little bit happy. This makes me happy because Twitch is admitting making mistakes, which you don't see very often. Like openly admitting that we made a mistake, because we've been saying this for years. Like the community overall has been in consensus and uniform outcry that they need to be transparent and they need to be consistent. And also people wanted to have 70-30 across the board, like our friends over at YouTube, which is 70-30 across the board. And don't even get me started with Streamloots, which is 90-10 across the board for all partners. Finally, we don't believe it's right for those on standard contracts to have varied revenue shares based on the size of the streamer. We don't believe it's right. So why'd you do it? I mean, that's the obvious question, right, chat? I hate to be a simpleton. I hate to be a very direct man, but if you don't think it's right, why did you do it? Am I right.exe? It's like, anybody else not see? I gotta make that red. That's red. Oh. Okay. In an ideal world, all streamers would be on the same set of terms regardless of size. You mean on YouTube, right? However, instituting that policy would have a negative impact on the streamers currently on those terms, right? Many of whom were instrumental in helping us build the Twitch we know today. I don't understand that. These streamers have come to depend on the additional revenue split to maintain their standard of living. Now, Bwana comes from a special place, right? I'm probably not in this paragraph at all, but I was one of the ones who were instrumental in helping us build Twitch to what we know today. But I don't have 70-30. So I don't think it would have a negative impact on me, because here I am at 50-50 and I was there in the beginning. So I don't understand this logic to say that giving people the same terms regardless of size, if you meet the criteria. This is the important part that I think is being left out of this, is that if you meet partnership criteria, it is not unreasonable to offer the same terms. Because that's exactly what YouTube does today. It's exactly what they do. Now, where YouTube fluctuates is ad rates, right? Ad rates has a baseline of 55-45. But then they negotiate other rates for bigger people for obvious reasons, right? They get higher CPMs. I've been doing this advertisement thing since I was podcasting, and your CPM is negotiated because it makes sense. That's how advertisement works. But when it comes to a split of your membership fees or slash subs and stuff like that, that stuff should be static. That really should be static for everybody. I don't understand how it's not, but YouTube gets it. They don't. These streamers have come to depend on the additional revenue split to maintain their standard of living. No, they don't. Most big streamers don't depend on subs. The people affected by this don't depend on subs. Don't get it twisted. They're going to miss the cut. They're going to miss the pay cut. You know, it's going to be a loss of money. Anytime you lose money on any business deal or any type of salary where you lose money, you care. But if you talk with most big streamers who make the criteria for this, chat, as we're going to get to later, it's in the next paragraph, is 100K based on subs, right? It's 100K. Most, if not all, these people get a majority of their income, not from subs, but from other sources, right? This is what they say. I'm not making this up. This is what they say. They don't depend on Twitch subs, and rightfully so, right? That's why you see a lot of streamers, they'll even turn off tips because they don't need it. Or like, I think does Code do this? I think he donates all his tips to his mods. I think Pokimane did a similar thing where they don't accept tips. They don't need it because they're making so much money on other sources, right? So I don't think they depend on it, this revenue split, right? I don't think they depend on it as much as he's letting on. They do, however, factor it into their revenue. And if you lose money, you're going to care. So if they came to Bwana and say, Bwana, you're going to be making 40-60 instead of 50-50, which I actually think is coming. We'll get to that in a minute. If they say you're going to be making 40-60 instead of 50, I'm going to be like, no, I don't want that because you're taking money out of my pocket. Anybody who's running a business or anybody who's instrumental in owning their own business, you always speak up when somebody's taking money out of your pocket. It's not even an ego thing. It's not even like an attitude thing. It's just business. You're like, no deal, right? You just come back with no deal. GG. Especially if you think it's unfair, right? So for these streamers still on the premium deals, we're adjusting. Here's the bottom line. We're adjusting the deal. Pray we don't alter it further. I keep hearing that in my head. I have altered the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further. I just hear Vader in my head. For those streamers still on the premium deals, we're adjusting the deal so that they retain their 70-30 revenue share split for the first 100K earned through subscription revenue. So you're guaranteed 100K under 70-30, right? Revenue above 100K will be split. We need to highlight this. Revenue above 100K will be split at the standard 50-50 share split, right? We're announcing this change now, but it won't go into effect until June next year. So you got almost a whole year. We're announcing this change now, but it won't go into effect until June 1st, 2023. After that point, streamers will only be affected once their existing contract is up for renewal. And you gotta wonder how many people are gonna renew. All streamers with these terms have already received information and more via email, and we will make sure to give them exact updates and timelines as we get closer to June 1st, 2023. You got that when you see this, the question is why. The first question that comes to mind is, why are you cutting my pay, Twitch? Like if your employer came to you and say, all right, we're gonna bump you down from 50K a year to 45K a year. And you go, what? Why? Your first question is why, right? So I just want to leave that with you. I just want to leave that cliffhanger. Why? Why are you cutting my money, man? For approximately 90% of streamers on standard agreements with premium subscription terms, this change will not affect them at their current revenue. So they're saying that a vast majority of people that have 70-30 right now make less than 100K. So this is going to affect 10% of the people on the premium subscription terms, which is even a smaller percent of all partners. Dare I say, it's the quintessential 1%. It's like the 1%. For those who are affected, we wanted to make sure the impact was minimal, not just by giving them ample time before the deal goes into effect, but by also offering an alternate way to earn revenue. Oh, really? Our recent bump in ads revenue share to 55% as part of the ads incentive program is a great way for those large streamers to make up most, if not all, of that revenue. For those that are interested in additional detail, we have provided a copy of that email, so we have sent to those streamers. Explain the change and how it affects them below. So Twitch is like, all right, so 1% who this is affected on. We bumped our ads revenue share to 55% so that you can make up most, if not all, of that revenue. Let me tell y'all something. YouTube's revenue split is 55-45 for ads right now. So Twitch is playing catch up. They were actually behind YouTube here. They were paying less than the quote unquote standard rate. I think TikTok pays less, I'm not sure. But YouTube was already 55-45 for ads. You can go look at your settings in your, if you don't know, if you're a YouTube partner, go into your settings and there's a section in there where you can look at what your current ad rate is. And it, for most people, if not all, it's 55-45 unless you have, unless you're a bigger partner. So they're catching up. They're catching up. So they're going to take money away and they're going to say, oh, we're going to make it up by giving you what you should have been getting in the first place. I think that's what sets the tone of this for a lot of people, is that you don't feel very valued by the time you get to this paragraph. You're just like, well, I don't, wow, gosh, Twitch. And you try to see the positive. You're like, man, where's the positive in this? So far, I haven't seen the thing. I haven't seen any positive thing about this whole email yet. Not one thing. So in essence, run more ads to make up for the money we're taking away from you. So they're making the 1% run more ads, chat. That's not a stretch. This is, we're going to pay you less. And if you want to get paid the same that we paid you before, you got to run ads. You got to run 2 minutes worth of ads every hour. Minimum. These are from people that never ran ads before, right? A lot of these bigger streamers, a lot of them opted out of this and they said, we're not going to run ads because I don't need it. Right now, Twitch is like, oh, you're going to need it because we're going to take money out of your pocket. So I think that's the tone of this message so far. That's kind of the tone, right? It's a reality of our business. In rare cases, continue to negotiate custom agreements on a case-by-case basis. So that's not going to stop. However, we have been reducing how often we offer these deals and the total value of these deals. Remember up here where they said, oh yeah, we made a mistake. We weren't transparent about the existence of these deals. And guess what? We're going to continue to not be transparent about these deals. They're not going to change. They're going to continue to do that. And they're not going to be consistent about the quality, the qualification criteria. They're going to keep doing that. So yeah, you said you made a mistake, but further down, you're going to keep doing it. So again, the tone of the email doesn't make you feel valued as someone who is putting a lot of time and effort into Twitch in terms of streaming. Now let's get to the big question. Why exactly? That is the question. Why in the world are you taking money out of our pockets? When we first established a 50-50 revenue share split, it was to signal that we're in this together. I mean, whoever wrote this, when you wrote that, were you smirk? Did you have a smirk on your face when you wrote this? You all do all the amazing work you do to create great content, engage with your audience, and grow communities. On our side of the partnership, it's our responsibility to make continuous investments in the products and people that make your growth possible. 50-50, right? That right there, I think that summarizes their attitude towards everything right now. I don't know if it's on purpose, but it's like, I don't know if they understand that 50-50 is below the standard. I don't think they have, maybe they've repeated it so much that they feel like 50-50 should be the standard, right? But when you look at this from a perspective of saying that 50-50 is not the standard, and then you say we first established this because we wanted to say that we're in this together, that sounds like a genuine bold-faced mistruth, because you're giving us less, but you're saying we're in this together. So it sounds like deception, right? From a business perspective, if you're negotiating a deal and somebody says that, they're like, okay, I'm going to negotiate 20% of your asking, which is 30% of the standard, because I think we're in this together. I think you and I could go a long way. I think this business deal will prosper. I think we'll be good partnerships. We have a great synergy. So we're going to offer you 30% less than the standard and 20% less of your asking. I'm just making up those numbers. That doesn't sound like a very good business deal, does it? No, it doesn't. All right. At the time of this posting, more than 22,000 of you have weighed in on user voice, asking us to move all streamers to 70-30 and to pay streamers faster. Let's chat about that latter part first. As you probably heard by now, we're in the middle of rolling out the largest change to payouts in years by cutting the payout threshold in half to $50. This is an important middle step that will help streamers put money in their pockets now, while getting us closer to our goal of same-day payouts and lower thresholds. Okay? Investments like these are paying off for streamers. Products like Prime Subs, Community Gifting, Hype Train, and the Ads Incentive Program, to name a few, have driven an increase of 27% more streamer revenue per viewer hour every year over the last 5 years. I'm gonna go ahead and say I don't believe this. This is where I raise my hand and I yell the words, shenanigans. I don't believe that. I don't believe it. I just flat out don't believe it. I just don't. Well, Bwana, what proof do you have? What proof did he have? Does he have? This is a straight up like he said, she said thing for me. I don't believe this. And if they're not telling the truth, they're not liable to correct this. He could have made up that number for all we know. This is not a report to shareholders. I just don't believe it. And no disrespect to this guy, I don't know who he is, but that statement, I just don't believe it. This means that the same viewer hour now earns you 3 times more money than it did 5 years ago on average. So you can make statistics say whatever you want, chat. You can make statistics say whatever you want. Whatever you want. You can spin the numbers however you want, and they can come out to meet whatever you want to say. That's a tried and true skill that people have. They can spin the numbers to do whatever they want. And I just don't believe that I'm making more money per viewer hour than I made 5 years ago. Well, in essence, a lot of us are streaming 3 times as many hours as we did 5 years ago, and we're making less money. So explain that, Twitch. How are we making less money now than 5 years ago, and we're streaming more, and you're telling me that we're making 27% more? Okay. Anyway, this means that, I already read that. Our investments into your monetization options have already continued to put more money in streamer pockets than 20% more sub revenue share would have. I don't believe that. Now, here's the thing. I think the ad incentive program was a big boost, right? I think we started this is where the deception and the smoke and mirrors comes in, because the ad incentives program put us where we were supposed to be all along. Make no mistake, guys. The ad incentive program put us where we were supposed to be all along. So don't look at it as a bonus or something that they did right. This is something that they should have done years ago, and they finally got around to doing it, and we're getting paid what we're supposed to get paid. So we shouldn't be happy for receiving what we should have got in the first place. That's a classic deception technique. You were paying us less for ads. So yeah, now you're paying us more. You're going to say, oh, we're getting 27% more. That means you were paying us 27% less than what we should have been getting paid. Hello? And a lot of people, including myself, we have been screaming that, ads just don't pay. They don't pay well at all. They weren't worth running for a lot of us. They just weren't, until the ad incentive program brought it up to where it was supposed to be, right? The only problem with ad incentive program, not the only problem, one of the problems with the ad incentive program is that we're supposed to be getting paid these rates, but we shouldn't be paid. We shouldn't be forced to run 2 minutes worth of ads every hour to get paid these rates. So in essence, we're getting paid the rates we're supposed to be getting, but we're running more ads than we should be running. So we're getting the short end of the deal here twice over. We have to run more ads now than we've ever run before to get the rates we should have been getting in the first place, right? So that's a problem with Twitch, chat. I'm sorry. This is a problem with Twitch. This is a problem with their business model is flawed and it's starting to get exposed. The business model is flawed. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that. You don't need to own your own business or know a lot about business to know that this is a flawed business model. And I'm going to stay on that thing because it's going to get worse. And I think this is where you should pay attention. If you're an existing streamer on Twitch that relies on income, like I do, this is where you should pay attention because they have a flawed business model, which means that things are not going to get better. Okay. So when you say things like, oh, it doesn't affect me, you need to put the word yet at the end of that. And I'm not trying to give you scare tactics or anything, but as someone who went through probably like 6 or 7 layoffs during downturns in the economy, during the dot-com boom failures, during all these bubble bursts, when a company can't make money, when they are in the negative, the employees are going to feel it either by layoffs, pay cuts, or they're just going to get acquired and they're going to fire everybody. Fire half the people. The same is true for Twitch. If their business model doesn't turn around, and you're going to see later in this email or in this blog post about what they're currently doing, Daddy Amazon is going to be like, all right, that's enough. We're going to sell you guys off. They're going to have it. It's going to affect us. Okay, let's talk about the next paragraph. I kind of got ahead of myself a little bit, but that's okay. Prime subs often get lost in the conversation when it comes to revenue share. Why? For Prime subs, we pay streamers the same amount they receive for a regular subscription, even though it's included as an added benefit of their Prime subscription. Combined with our other monetization products, Prime subs increase your effective revenue share by approximately 15% and is about 65% total. I don't believe you. This number varies by streamer size and location, but subscription revenue share is not the full picture on revenue share for streamers. Prime subs is a product of your parent company. You make money through us selling Prime, through watch parties, through Prime subs, through the drops, through all the systems that you have in place that tell people to go get Amazon Prime. We are working for you to sell Amazon Prime. So for you to turn around and say we should be grateful that Prime subs increase our revenue by a little bit is kind of stupid because we are working for you at this point. We are essentially Prime salesmen as streamers. Every time we say thank you for the Amazon Prime, you get a free token per month. Thank you for spending it here. Blah, blah, blah. All these things. We are upselling Amazon Prime. We are salesmen for you. We should get paid. Don't make this a bonus. This is not a bonus. This is a pay. We deserve more than this. So that shouldn't even be included in this conversation. This is why Prime gets lost in the conversation because we're working for you. We're actually working for Twitch. We're working for Amazon here. And nobody wants to work for free. I would be very, very curious to know what the uptick in Prime subs were on Amazon since they introduced this, because I know a ton of people that got Amazon Prime just for Twitch subs. I'm telling you, they don't even buy stuff from Amazon. They don't even use Amazon Video. They don't use any of those products. They got it for the free monthly sub. And back then they got it for no ads on Twitch too, but they removed that. So how many of those people did we bring? You know, with Twitch's large audience, how many Prime subscriptions to Amazon did we sell? That's a good question. Maybe you should include that in this paragraph. Lastly, we have to talk about the cost of our service. Okay, I think this is probably the most important paragraph in the whole thing. This is the most important paragraph right here. This is why if you are a current streamer and you depend on Twitch revenue for anything, you should pay attention. We have to talk about the cost of our service. Delivering high definition, low latency, always available live video to nearly every corner of the world is expensive. Using the published rates for Amazon Web Services Interactive Video Service, IVS, which is essentially Twitch video, a live video costs for 100 concurrent user streamer who streams 200 hours per month are more than $1,000 per month. We don't typically talk about this because frankly, you shouldn't have to think about it. We'd rather you focus on doing what you do best, but to fully answer the question of why not 70-30, ignoring the high cost of delivering the Twitch service would mean giving you an incomplete answer. Now this right here is why you should be worried. This whole paragraph is saying that not only are we offloading the cost to you of our service, the streamer, we're offloading the cost to you, the 70-30 to the top 1%. We're offloading the cost to you. But our own parent company, this is what he just admitted to. our own parent company is charging us the box price for a product. They're charging us retail internally. That's what he just said in this paragraph, chat, that Amazon is charging Twitch the box price for IVS. So if Nike.com buys IVS, they're charging them the same amount that they charge Twitch, which they own. And I say shenanigans to that. You got to be the stupidest business on the planet, the absolute dumbest business on the planet, to sell internally the same price that you charge your customers, because you won't make money. You won't make money. You just won't. You will lose money if you do this. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life that has been published by any president of any company ever. He's saying that our parent company is charging us the box rates. He's charging us retail. So if you are a Twitch streamer and you look at this and you go, okay, so Twitch is basically saying that they can't afford to run the site. That's why they're cutting our pay. They can't afford to run the site with their current business model. So that's why you should really diversify, chat. This is why you should diversify. And whenever you see the term bleed purple, you laugh. I've been telling y'all this for years. You don't know. You don't bleed purple. This is a tool. This is not, they are not your friend. As people are starting to find out the hard way that Twitch is only out to make money because they're a business. And they're going to take money out of your pocket so that they can keep running their business. Bleed purple got thrown out the window when they're taking your money away. So you need to diversify, and you don't put all your eggs in one basket. So their business model is flawed. It's flawed. They currently are struggling to pay us the standard rates for ads. They currently are struggling to pay us the standard rates for membership fees. That's what I'm calling them, sub rates. The standards set by YouTube and Google, and in some cases Facebook. And they're justifying saying that running a live service is expensive. Well, why in the world YouTube, which has 30,000 times more viewers than you, serves about probably, I don't know how many magnitudes more data than you, how come they're able to do it? I tell you why, because they have a better business model. So this excuse in this paragraph makes me really question if Twitch knows what they're doing going forward. And that's me saying that in the nicest way possible. It makes me question if they know what they're doing going forward. So this doesn't affect me now, right? It doesn't affect a lot of us now, right? But you read this and you go, well, that's only temporary. If they keep on like they're keeping on, they're going to start cutting other things. Like, I think Turbo's going away. Like their fallback philosophy is ads, because that's their biggest moneymaker. They definitely are in trouble. And honestly, I don't think this had much to do with like all the controversy that happened. This stuff was leaked. Chat, I don't know if you guys remember. We talked about it in another video. All the stuff that's been happening with Twitch got leaked like last year. Was it last year or earlier this year? I think it was last year. It got leaked. And everything that they leaked in that video has come true. And this was like the last thing that hadn't come true, that the 70-30 split was going away and they were going to go to 50-50. This is the last domino of that giant leak that happened. And when you talk about this to people, when you look at it and, you know, you talk about what's happening, you know, the conversation will probably go like this. Did you hear Twitch is cutting ad revenue, or they're cutting their sub revenue down to 50-50 for some streamers? They're like, oh yeah, it's only 1%. Yeah, it's only 1%. It's only the top people and they're not going to miss it anyway. They didn't read this paragraph. They need to come and read this paragraph if that's their attitude, because Twitch is using this as a means to tell you how much it costs to stream live video. Now, I saw in chat, I think it was, I don't know who said it, that there's no way Amazon does this. They're only using this as an example that says using the published rates. And my rebuttal to that is that you shouldn't even bring it up. It shouldn't even be brought up. If you're not paying this much, it shouldn't even be brought up, because that in itself is deceptive and disingenuous. Because the way this is worded is carefully worded, by the way. It's making it seem like, oh man, Twitch has to pay that much for only 100 concurrent user streamer for 200 hours a month. Man, wow, that really changes things. Good grief. Okay, now I understand why they can't do 70-30. So it's really telling that they use this in this email. It's really telling that they're using this. And that's why you shouldn't trust a lot of what they tell you now. Because this right here, this whole email to me has lowered my trust of Twitch substantially. Like when they say stuff, there's a bunch of things in here where I just say, I don't believe you. That's why, because I have lost trust in them. I don't believe what they say. I just don't believe them. I don't trust them. I mean, I don't trust a lot of companies, but when they put out information, you know, you usually are leaning towards the site or the side of optimism, right? You don't immediately jump to the negative unless you're reading something from like Activision or EA or somebody. Everybody gets negative then. When someone asks me why Twitch is the best place to make money as a streamer, my answer start first and foremost with community. Chat. Let me ask y'all something. I'm not gonna ask y'all something. I'm just gonna say it. You only make money on Twitch when you're live. So technically your community is only thriving when you're live, according to him. Because he says Twitch is the best place to make money because it starts with community. And that's only when you're live. So what about when you're not live, chat? What about when you're taking a break, or you want to go on a 2-week vacation, or you want to go on a 1-week vacation, or you just want to stop streaming for a little bit just to catch your breath, or you have a tragedy that happens in your family? What about them? No, that community starts to dwindle and you make less money if you're not live. And Twitch's whole business model is that you stream all the time. It's all about viewer hours, about streaming all the time, because they don't have a VOD. They don't have a VOD solution like YouTube does. YouTube, you can go and make 5 videos per month. And if you do it right, that's all you got to do. You don't need to be live 12 hours a day. It's a much more sustainable business model to be a content creator of things that can pay you while you're not live. That's why people take their live stuff, they chop it up and they throw it up on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, because that's how you repurpose content. Twitch is saying that they're the best place for community, and I digress and I say, no, it's not the best place for community. It is a place for your community, but it's only valid while you're live. That's why you say, hey, come to my Discord, come here. You tell people on your Twitch stream to go somewhere else. Now, if it was the best place for a community, you guys will stick around when I'm gone. You'd have reason to stick around while I'm gone, but it's not. Community on Twitch is real and tangible, from chat memes to subscriber emotes to TwitchCon meetups, and yes, to how streamers earn money. That's partially because of our work to equip you with the right tools, but it's primarily because streamers like you are putting yourselves out there, embracing what you're most passionate about, and building communities. And we're doing it without Twitch, by the way. I have done more with Discord than I've ever done with Twitch. Like, Discord has been a great tool because I have done forums, I have done all kinds of things. We've done team speaks, we've done mumble servers, we've done all these things, and Discord has by far been the best community tool I have in my pocket. Why? Because it continues to do its thing, albeit how small it is or whatever, while I'm not live. I don't have to kill myself streaming, chat. And that's the thing that's being missed here, is that Twitch is only one-dimensional. It is live content. We believe we have the most compelling offering to streamers, and there's still more we can do. The best Twitch is the one we build together. Your feedback helps us evolve in the right direction. As always, if you have feedback, the best place to share is Twitch user voice. Thank you for your time. Now, with all that being said, I may sound very negative, but Twitch has come a long way over the years. Stuff like this that they're admitting to being wrong, and the disclosure of all these different rates and statistics and stuff, they would never share this in the past. They've come a long way. They didn't do this in the past. Like, they were deathly silent about all this stuff, right? So the takeaway from all of this from me is that I don't trust Twitch to handle their business, and I'm going to treat them as such. To be honest, I've always treated them this way. I've always said I like Twitch. I like their devs back when I knew them. I don't know anybody anymore, but they're a tool. They're a tool. They are a tool in a toolbox that you use to accomplish your goals. And you have to look at them that way. And if that tool starts to break, you get a tool that works, period. End of sentence, end of paragraph. You get a tool that works. So it's kind of sad because I didn't think my opinion of Twitch would drop any further, because I already have I joke and stuff about it, but I have really low expectations of what they can do and what they can't do and all this stuff. I have low expectations, right? So when they come out with something new or they do something new, I always assume the worst because of just experience. It's not that I don't like Twitch, but somehow this email made me think even lower of them. Not because they're taking money away from the top 1%, but this last paragraph, this paragraph right here, where they're bringing up IVS rates. I'm just like, that's disgusting. That's actually disgusting. Seeing that, it decreases my faith that they're able to run this business. And that's why I think you are a fool. And I use that word specifically because the definition fits. You are a fool if you know what we're talking about right now, and you still only stream on Twitch and do nothing else with your content. You are a straight up fool. And I mean that in the most loving way possible. You are a fool. You have got to get out of that mindset that Twitch is the only place where you can do your content. It is possible, people. I have been in this business for a long, long time. Before Twitch was even a thing, before JTV was even a thing. We were making money before this existed, and we did a lot less work, a lot less. Streaming is way too time consuming for what you get out of it. If you're streaming 60, 70 hours a week and you're making less than minimum wage, some things got to change, chat. You just can't do that. You just can't. So there's obviously tools out there. There's things out there. There's tools out there and sites and that make it possible. If you want to continue to live stream, you can. But that has to be something that you have to say that's just one part of what I do. So Bwana, should I move to YouTube? No, I'm not telling you that. I'm not telling you to move to YouTube. I'm not telling you to move to Facebook or anything like that. But you need to figure out how to use your content elsewhere in addition to Twitch. Twitch is a great tool. Don't get me wrong. It's a great tool to use. It's a great way to reach an audience live. It's got some benefits. But if you really wanted to, you could do the exact same thing on YouTube. You could. People don't want to believe that. There's a meme going around that YouTube live sucks, but it has been proven by many content creators, both big and small, that you can live stream on YouTube and be successful. And in a lot of cases, you're doing a lot less work. And if you want to compare to Twitch, apples to oranges to YouTube, I think YouTube's got the edge. Even, I say apples to oranges because YouTube is mostly a VOD-based system with live, and Twitch is a live-based system with nothing else. I would say that YouTube has got the edge, especially if you manage your community properly. The problem with Twitch mentality is that people assume that you have to be live to manage your videos. To manage your community. That's the way people have been indoctrinated on this site, that if you're not live, then your community is not live. Your community is dead. And that's not the way to run a community. Your community should thrive even if you're offline. All these successful people that moved over to YouTube, that got the deals, they did so because they had a YouTube community that was thriving, independent of Twitch. A majority of those millions of Twitch subscribers or YouTube subscribers never even went to the Twitch page, ever. They consumed all their content over on YouTube. So it's like, you got to be careful, man, with this. So what does that mean for my stream? I know some people are curious about what I'm going to do personally. No, I'm not moving to YouTube. Let's get that out of the way. I've always been a proponent of using Twitch for what it's best at, and that's not going to change. So Twitch is a great tool to use if you want to go live and do some stuff while you're live, right? YouTube is catching up. Don't get me wrong. YouTube is catching up. They got better tools over there on YouTube than Twitch does in a lot of ways. But I've been on this site for 15 years now? If you go back to JTV. So I got a lot invested in terms of like just the relationships I've made and the people I know and you guys, right? That doesn't mean I'm going to stay here and only here. And the thing that I am leaning towards doing, and I've already announced this many, many times. So essentially nothing's going to change. I will live stream less and produce content and massage the community and just like nurture the community independent of live streams. And we've got several avenues of that. We got Discord and we have Patreon. We've got YouTube. I've started a TikTok. I have Instagram. I have all these things where people can consume content, right? And they can interact with me on those platforms. If they want to just interact with me on those platforms and nowhere else, that's fine by me. Do it. I actually prefer that. If you have a preference of platform, just stay there. If you want to join our Discord and never watch my live stream, I'm fine with that too. But the thing is that I'm not going to put as many hours, and I've actually cut back on a lot of my stream hours. You guys have noticed this. I'm not going to be streaming 8 hours a night every night that I'm live, even though I've already been live 5.5 already. I'm not going to be streaming 8 hours, right? Number one, it's not healthy for me. It has affected my health, but I'm starting to improve that. And it's not sustainable. It's frankly not sustainable. You can't keep this up, man. I've been doing this 15 plus years. I'm tired of streaming 8 hours a night. I can't do this. I can't do it every night. It doesn't make sense to me. Ever since I went full time back in 2016, I've been streaming for a long time, but I've only been full time since 2016. I've been putting in gargantuan hours in streaming, like insane hours. Even if you don't include like the marathons, insane amounts of hours, right? More than I've worked for a lot of jobs I've been at. And I have done a lot of hours on jobs I've been at. And the return on that time is minuscule. Chat, if you do a CBA, if you do a cost benefit analysis on the time you put into live stream versus the amount of revenue and money you get out of it, it is laughably small. It is like slavery rates. It's like sweatshop. I'm telling you, man, it really doesn't make sense. It's a colossal waste of time. It is a colossal waste. If you value your time, you will not stream 8 to 10 hours a day, period. Not on Twitch. You won't. And I mean that in the most loving way possible. Know what you should do is you stream 3 to 4 hours, and then those other 4 hours, you do stuff elsewhere. You make YouTube videos, you make Let's Plays, you make clips, you interact with your community, you create posts, you create thumbnails, you analyze your stuff, you go and learn from other people, you improve your content, you spend your time doing all of that instead of just sitting in front of here playing Call of Duty all day. Now, you don't need a masterclass from me to give you that free tidbit. You just have to use your time. You have to use your time wisely. Yeah, but to get that 1 hour video, you need to spend 2 to 3 hours filming and spend a lot more time editing. And it continues to make money for you even if you're not live. That is the key. Like, for example, I'm gonna use my Final Fantasy videos as an example. I spent so much time recording all those cutscenes, right, for the Final Fantasy stuff. And I did that years ago, and I put a lot of hours. I'm talking a lot of hours recording and editing that. They're still my top viewed videos, like every month on YouTube. They're still my top stream or my top viewed videos. And I did it years ago, and they're still bringing in revenue. They're still bringing in revenue. And that's what Twitch doesn't give you. And that's the point of all this ranting, is that live only makes you money when you are live. And if you're not making money live, that much money live, you shouldn't be live. And I really think if anybody's listening to this and they're wondering like what you should do, if you're scared or whatever about what Twitch is, what's happening with Twitch, just hear what me and a lot of other creators are saying. Devote more time to building out your brand and building out your community off of Twitch. Continue to nurture Twitch, continue to live stream, do your thing, but spend less time doing that and more time nurturing your community elsewhere, because Twitch is only valid when you're live. That's why people are like anxious and they have all this depression and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to take a day off. If I don't stream for 2 days, I'm going to lose this many subs. That sounds like bondage, man. That doesn't sound very fun, does it? It sounds like you're trapped. That's why Pokimane came out. She was just like, listen, I'm not going to be streaming like I used to stream. It ain't worth it, man. That's why Ninja is like, I'm just going to stream everywhere. I don't care anymore. I'm gonna nurture these other communities. That's why Lupo and Tim, like, I'm going to YouTube. I can interact with my community better there. I don't have to be live all the time. And I can repurpose content a lot easier on YouTube than I can on Twitch. It's less work for more money. This is not about loyalty, guys. This is not about bleed purple. This is about being smart. This is about being smart. And I've made a lot of mistakes. I'm not perfect. Like, you can look at me, oh, Bwana, you only got 30, 40 views. I know, hey, that's the way I roll. And if that's how my career is going to be, then so be it. As long as I can eat and pay my bills and be happy with my wife, if I got a 30 to 40 viewer stream and I can do that, then that's fine by me. Like, my happiness is not dictated by my growth. It's dictated by my lifestyle with me and my family. So it's like, if I can maintain a certain level of happiness with my family, having a 30, 40 viewer stream is not a big deal to me. That's not a flex. That's more like that's just a goal. That's just how I live. You know, I have very simple needs. I don't need the newest tech. I don't need the newest computers. I don't need all that stuff. I have very simple needs. Very, very simple. My wife will tell you, we don't ask for much. And it's a humble lifestyle that breeds true happiness, because you don't envy people. You don't envy stuff, and you don't long for stuff, and you're not constantly looking at other people's stuff, right? So the thing is that when you're running a business with that kind of an attitude, you kind of have to be valuable of your time too. You have to realize the value of your time. That's where my attitude, and that's where my opinion of this message from the president kind of is swayed one direction. It's like, listen, I'm tired of wasting my time live streaming if that's the only value I'm going to get is while I'm live, and the value is not that much, right? Thankfully, we have tools like Streamloots, which gives you a 90% revenue cut on memberships. Thankfully, we got tools like Patreon, which takes a lot less. Thankfully, we got tools like Ko-fi, which takes a lot less. Takes nothing really. And thankfully we got people like YouTube out there that have better options. I'm not saying YouTube's perfect, because they're not. They're far from it. Y'all know how I feel about Google. They're not perfect. They do a lot of stuff that I don't agree with, but they have better options than Twitch in a lot of different ways.